backstory of my adoption. So I was born in Houston, Texas. I was adopted by my mom, Glenda Crump. My birth mom's name is Beth. First name is Beth. I spent about a week at St. Joseph's or the Blessed Trinity headquarters for a week. Growing up, from baby to toddler, it was like that. It was great, amazing. From what I can remember, it was great. Like second grade, we all, like all the students, brought pictures of their family. I was dreading that day because I knew I was gonna get that question asked. So as every kid walked around the room looking around, you could see all the characteristics, all the similar traits the kids had with their parents. But then when you come to mine, you don't. It's like you can't see it. Especially I'm black and they're all white. It's like you can't. It's like you can't see this trait. So you get asked a question like, "Oh, why are they that and you're black?" Or it's like, "Are you sad because you don't know your mom?" And then they're like, "Oh, that's not your mom. Like that's not your real mom." The one thing I always try to get across in their mind is like, that is my real mom. She did everything, and I try to get that across their mind. And it's just harmless questions, honestly. It's like they're just trying to understand, and I understand that. But as a little kid, it's just like you kind of blow it off, and you'd be like, I'm fine, it's good. But as time goes on, it's just like it keeps on rolling back in your head, and the less you try to work it out, the more it sinks down, and goes into your subconscious, and that's what and that's one of the things that's been affecting me all my life, to be honest. But yeah, I would say in 5th grade is when I started pushing the limits. Like with my mom, I was testing boundaries. I could sense like some sort of fight, I just don't know what it was. Deep down, you feel like you have a mom, which is Beth. It was hard to find acceptance, but I still loved her and knew she was my mom, and she would give everything to make sure I was okay and to keep me safe. But that was one of the things I was battling with as a little kid was acceptance, and that's what I learned growing up. I didn't know that back then, but I know that now, and I wish I would have treated her better because she did everything for me, took me in, all that. So like that, and then the end of 5th grade is when my mom began to become depressed. And then you think in your head like, well, I thought I was adopted to have a better life, or a chance for a better life. And then my mom's depressed, and I feel like I'm taking care of everything, trying to hold it down. I'm trying to make sure my brother's okay. It's like sometimes you don't want to. It's like you're young. You just want to have fun with your friends, but you just feel like you need to stay at home, clean, do all that just to make sure everything's great. It was so quiet in the house. Not a lot of people know that. It was just, it didn't feel good to be in the house all the time. I didn't go out with my friends. I wanted to a lot, but I just felt like I needed to stay home. Like I felt like they didn't need me at home, but I felt like I needed to stay at home and help as much as I could, even yeah. But that carried on all the way through high school, and my mom started getting better like my freshman year, but I felt like her depression kind of took a toll on us, especially our relationship, because we didn't connect, and I could feel that. And like I said before, the tug and pull situation, like I just had so much anger. I had so much anger. And part it's like I wasn't. I don't think I was right to have all to have all the anger towards her, because junior year I started getting depressed, and now I know how that feels. Um, and I wish I would have treated her better, and not been full of resentment with anger. She started getting better, but I already felt like it was a point of no return. Like, I just didn't have a care to mend it, and that's even harder when you're adopted. You just think of it more and more, like, what if I was there? Like, where would my life be? Like, where would I be? Would I be in a better situation? It's like all that's like those two things just conflict in your mind. It's like, man, would I have a better life? Or but then you're like, no, you can't say that, because you know these people over here love you to death so much, and they took you in. It's just like constant battle in your mind. It's a constant battle. I'm pushing all that to the side. Senior year, I was told I had a birth sister. All my life, I kind of thought I had a sibling or siblings, so I wasn't really surprised. I was kind of mad that she held it until I was 18, but I understand, and I feel like her reason is valid. She said that she was afraid that I was going to run away, try to find them. I just, a part of me just wishes I knew earlier. If I want one thing, it's to have a relationship with my siblings, if anything. And that's what I always grew up wanting. And it's like, if I get a relationship with my birth mom, then that'd be awesome too. It's like, that's what I want. I would say 4 years after that is when I really started pushing it. When I was thinking more and more, like, where are they, you know. In the year 2019, I asked for an ancestry kit from my aunt and uncle. The previous year, they asked if I wanted one. I said I wasn't ready, so I took one this January, got it back, looked at all my matches, and I had one cousin, well, aunt, that I had one aunt that was first. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I had one first cousin, so she was the closest to me. She was like 768 cms, like, she was that close to me. So, but I don't know why I thought she was dead at first. So I thought she was dead, and I thought she was connected to my dad. I thought my dad lived in Missouri. Like, shortly after I took the kid, told me my dad's first name, which is Michael. So I looked for Michael Cole in Missouri, because I was told he lived in Missouri. So I searched that. I found a guy that looked like he could be my dad, like, really looked like he could be my dad. So I was like, okay, this guy's for sure my dad. So I get in contact with him through his uncle, and we matched Wilma to one of his aunts. So I'm like, okay, so I was like, this guy is definitely my dad. And I met some amazing people, people who I thought were my siblings: Malachi, Tyrese, Jemiah, and Michael. I thought they were my siblings, and you know, they always will be. Always my little brothers and little sisters. Great people. And I met some great people on the Fulton page. Really great people on the Fulton page. They all came together and tried to help me find my mom. And I can't thank them enough for their help. It means a lot. Their support, even when we ran into a dead end, their support for me to keep on going was amazing. Their love and support, it's like they're just a whole family to me. And I just thank them so much. But the day when we ran into a dead end, that was the day I just wanted to give up. I was like, man, we're never gonna find her. So I just took a break, probably for that night. But then I was like, man, I can't. I had an urge. I had this sudden urge to be like, I was like, something's missing. So then, going back to Wilma on an ancestry, I was like, why do you think Wilma's dead? It doesn't even say she's dead. So I'm going like, okay, Wilma's not dead. And then I was like, Wilma, if Wilma was married into the family, which I thought she was, she would have to be my grandma. But the Michael Cole that I met, mom was not named Wilma. So I was like, Wilma's not connected to Michael at all. So then I was like, Wilma has to be connected to my mom. So I was like, just by slight chance Wilma isn't dead, I'm gonna type her name into Facebook. So I type in Wilma Williams. I'm gonna type in Wilma Williams. I was like, okay, there's a Wilma Williams. So I click on it, and then in her friend list, I just type in all my matches on my ancestry. I'm like, okay, Shamika's there, and then everyone else is there, and then I'm like, maybe you should type in Beth. So I type in Beth, and then there's a Beth, and then I send it to my cousin Shante, one of my friends from the Fulton page, and they're both like, man, that looks like her, like I'm 100%. I'm like, are you sure? I mean, like, because I just don't want to get my hopes up. Turns out it was her. My cousin Shante calls her, and then she gives her my number, and then Beth calls me like 5 minutes later. My mom calls me 5 minutes later, and it was a great phone call. She talked to my mom, and now I have two moms that both love me. I have two families that both love me. I'm thankful I have new family in Fulton. I have new family in a lot of places, and I'm excited for this journey. It's a new beginning. It's a new step, and I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to more adoptees and their stories. Can't wait to help out whoever needs help, adoption wise or just life wise. I feel like my situation might have not been ideal, but the man that I became today can help a lot of people right now, in the future, as long as I just stay on this track. And I thank everybody who's supporting me throughout my journey. Love you guys, and can't thank you enough. This is only the beginning. Thank you.